Tonight, 3 exceptional pilots face off to see who knows the most about aviation trivia. Right now on PropQuiz. Welcome to the first episode of Gold Seal's Prop Quiz, the only true aviation game show on the internet. My name's Ethan Berg, and I'm going to be your host for this competition as we put 3 pilots head-to-head to test their aviation knowledge. They're feeling the tension today since we're 100% live, no do-overs, so let's meet them now. Commuting in from San Marcos, Texas, or not really, but still, our first contestant is a high-profile YouTube flight instructor. You likely know him as the founder of Aviation 101, Josh Flowers. Our second instructor today, moonlighting as an airline pilot, is also well known on YouTube as the co-host of In the Hangar with Dan Milliken. A big welcome to Christy Wong. And reporting in on final, our resident airshow performer and upset recovery instructor from Patty Wagstaff's flight school in St. Augustine, Florida, please welcome Spencer Suderman. Now this is, of course, a game show, so we have a prize. Today's winner is going to go home with a cash prize of $500 and his chance to defend his or her title on next week's show. Our runner-up is going to walk away with $200. Everyone, thanks so much for joining us today. Here's how this works. The game has 2 rounds of 15 questions worth 10 points each. The first round is a free-for-all. Each of you has a buzzer, which will be activated when I finish reading a question. Whomever buzzes in first is going to get the chance to answer. If you answer correctly, you'll get all 10 points. But if you get it wrong, the next person who buzzes in is going to get the chance to steal. Now, like I said, each question is worth up to 10 points. It pays to be first. If you're not the first person to buzz in, even if you answer correctly, you're only going to get 5 points. So, if everyone's ready, let's play Prop Quiz. Here's your first question. Who was the first human to fly across the English Channel? Spencer.
Charles Lindbergh.
It's not Charles Lindbergh. I'm afraid not. Josh.
I was going to say Charles Lindbergh.
It was not Charles Lindbergh. Christy.
Chuck Yeager.
Not Chuck Yeager. The correct answer was Louis Blériot. Louis Blériot was the first human to fly across the English Channel. I'm sorry, but we have plenty of time. 14 questions left in this round, another 15 in round 2. Let's move on. What is the distance between the datum reference point to the CG of some weighted object called? Josh.
The arm.
It is the arm. Yes, indeed. Josh, good evening. So I want to talk to you for just a second here about some of what you do, because you're a very well-known YouTuber in the aviation industry, but for a different reason. You produce very different content, very cinematic and theatrical content. What made you decide to go that direction instead of more instructional or kind of one-on-one storytelling?
So that's kind of a loaded question to answer, but there's a lot of factors that went into it. I love instructing, but just making purely instructional content doesn't really do it for me. I'm very passionate about filmmaking and storytelling, and I really just like to. I wanted to find a way to combine those two as effectively as I possibly could. So basically, I fly myself all over the place for both for pleasure and for work, and just try to film as many experiences as I can, and I teach my way through those experiences and kind of call out my mistakes as they happen and talk my way through my thinking and aeronautical decision making and stuff like that. And then I also like to show the beauty that my eyes are beholding at the same time. And that's kind of the content that I've always wanted to see out there. So I try to produce it as best I can.
That's really cool. And it really does feel like we're in the cockpit with you. At least that's what it seems like to me when I watch your videos. So that's really cool. Well, Josh, we're going to move on to our third question of Prop Quiz tonight. In what Stanley Kubrick film is Slim Pickens seen riding an H-bomb dropped from his B-52? Josh.
I want to say it's Dr. Strangelove.
It is Dr. Strangelove. Yes,
All right.
indeed. You are still the first person on the board up there with 20 points. You're doing great so far. Let's continue on, see if you keep it up and keep that lead. In a surface analysis chart, gray lines connect points of equal pressure. What are they called? Spencer.
The gradients.
They're not gradients. Christy.
What?
Isobars.
Isobars is correct. And Spencer may have the cooler shades, but Christy's got the cooler answers. Good job, Christy.
Apparently.
Let's continue on. You are on the board now. Josh with 20 points. Christy with 5. Let's take a look at our next question. What does the acronym WAS stand for? Christy.
Wide Area Augmentation System.
Wide Area Augmentation System, correct. We're giving you 10 points, bringing you up to 15. You're in the double digits now. Good job. How many feet in whole numbers describe a nautical mile? Spencer.
6,076 feet.
6,076 feet is correct. Not a statute mile, but a nautical mile. That is absolutely correct, Spencer. Good job. Yeah, that's right. Celebrate. What type of pitch oscillations may occur in flight along the longitudinal axis? What type of pitch oscillations may occur in flight along the longitudinal axis? Josh.
I think everybody kind of looked confused on this one. Pitch
Good.
oscillation?
It's not. It's called... Nope. Spencer?
Pilot-induced oscillation?
No. All right. If nobody else is going to get it, I'll go ahead and let you know. It is phugoid. Phugoid oscillations can occur in flight along the longitudinal axis. It's an interesting word. Phugoid. Phugoid. Let's try the next one. Rutan-designed aircraft frequently include their trademark airfoil near the nose. What is it called? Spencer.
Of course, it's a canard.
Canard is correct, or canard wing, absolutely right. Bringing you up to 20 points, tied with Spencer. Christy just barely behind with 15. But you better watch out, because she'll catch up with you pretty quick. In a 60-degree level banked turn, how many G's will an airplane experience? Spencer.
2 G's. That's my stock in
2
trade.
G's is
Vitamin
right.
G.
Yes, sir. Putting you in the lead with 30 points. Good job, Spencer. All right.
Where I belong.
In what country does this famous and challenging airport exist? Josh.
That is in Lukla, Nepal.
It is Nepal. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Good job, Josh. You're staying neck and neck with Spencer here. 30 points and 30 points. What type of traffic alerts should a pilot expect to receive from an ADS-B out system? Josh.
Is it TIS? I believe it's TIS. TIS
Nope.
coming from ADS-B.
Not TIS. Spencer.
Pyreps?
Nope, not Pyreps. Christy, you want to buzz in and give it a try?
Yeah.
Christy.
TCAS?
Nope, not TCAS. It's actually none. In order to get traffic alerts, you need to have ADS-B in. An ADS-B out system's not going to give you anything. It just lets the other pilots around you know where you are. So, receive traffic alerts, you need ADS-B out. Let's try this one. With relation to icing, what does the acronym SLD stand for? Christy.
Supercooled liquid droplets.
No. Well, okay, we'll take it anyway. It's super cool large droplets, but we'll take super cool liquid droplets anyway, bringing you right back up there to 25 points. You're in the air. I almost said air conditioning. It's warm in here. You're in the air communicating with Millville Radio. What kind of facility is it? Josh.
That's a flight service station.
It is a flight service station, absolutely. Although I do think normally when we're in the air, we do also wish we were in the air conditioning. So May have been a
So
Freudian
we climb up,
slip
right?
there,
Open the windows.
Exactly. Open the windows, yes, indeed. Alrighty. What does the acronym, we're going to stick with acronyms here for a second. What does the acronym AHARS stand for? Spencer.
That, of course, is an altitude heading reference system.
It is an attitude Nope, I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. I know what you said now. I misunderstood you. Let's see if Josh gets it right.
It's an attitude and heading reference system.
Attitude and heading reference system. Yes, indeed. Not altitude. Attitude. That's right. All right. We're going to move on to the last question. Last question of round one here. In the movie 1941, John Belushi lands a World War II fighter at a desert gas station. What kind of airplane was it? Josh.
I believe it was a P-40 Warhawk.
It is a P-40 Warhawk. Really a P-40 Kitty Hawk. Warhawk was a later variant. That wraps up our free-for-all with Josh in the lead with 55 points. When we come back, the rivalry continues with round two. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Russ Still, and I'm your Chief Flight Instructor here at Gold Seal. Gold Seal is a comprehensive ground school covering everything from your FAA knowledge test to your final check ride. It's quite different from any other private pilot program. We mix exciting video with interactive segments and 3D animations. These may be in the airplane, in the hangar, or in a virtual 3D world. The result is a 21st century teaching machine that pulls you in and makes you a part of the experience. Now, one question that I frequently get is, what's the best way to save money during flight training? The answer to that is an absolute. Study at home. Before you go to a flight lesson with your flight instructor, study the ground school lesson really well. Not only will your CFI be impressed, he'll spend a lot less time trying to explain what you need to accomplish. And this means that you'll be paying him a lot less money. If you do your homework with Gold Seal, you will save cold, hard cash.
Pass your written test and your check ride with Gold Seal, the Internet's #1 ground school. Take a free test drive today and see how much fun learning to fly can be at onlinegroundschool.com.
Welcome back to Prop Quiz. Before the break, Josh took the lead with 55 points, leaving Spencer with 30 and Christy with 25. We now move on to our second round and the start of our multiple choice questions. This time, each question is going to have 4 answer choices, and when I finish reading the question, our contestants will choose from choices A, B, C, or D. They'll have 10 seconds to submit their response, and when time's up, we'll reveal what they chose. But again, it pays to be first. The first person to answer can earn up to 10 points, and all late answers will be worth 5. Here we go. The first question of round 2 is this. These two pairs share the same first names. What are they? A, Sam and Dave, B, Jim and Nick, C, Bill and Ted, or D, Bob and Doug? 10 seconds. All right, we're going to start our reveal in round 2 with Spencer. Spencer, you chose answer D, Bob and Doug. That is the correct answer. Yes, sir, bringing you up to 40 points and our first 10 points in round 2. Good job. Over to Christy now. Christy, you said C. I'm afraid not. Sorry, Christy. You're still at 25 points, though. You're still doing plenty good. Lastly, Josh, you said D, Bob and Doug. Absolutely correct. Now, I want to jump back over to Spencer here for a second. Spencer, you're known for air show performing, but you're also known for upset recovery instruction. Explain for a minute for our viewers, and including for myself, who doesn't really know, what is upset recovery instruction? What is upset recovery?
That's not what I'm known for. Let's get right to it. I'm known for doing the most inverted flat spins. I hold the inverted flat spin world record. That's what I'm known for. Someone didn't read the bio, did they?
Well, it helps when I write the bio, so I could say, I wrote whatever I wanted to write.
Yeah.
All right, well, if you want to talk about the inverted
recovery.
flat spin, how many flat spins? What is that record?
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about upset recovery training now, because I do that too. The word.
Your choice.
The The world record for inverted flat spins is 98. I did that from 24,500 feet in 2016 in a modified pitch special biplane.
All right, well, let's move on to our second question. With 120 knot airspeed and a 30 knot headwind, how long will it take an airplane to fly 45 nautical miles? A, 75 minutes, B, 45 minutes, C, 2 hours, or D, 30 minutes? All right, with 120 knot airspeed and a 30 knot headwind, how long will it take an airplane to fly 45 nautical miles? We're going to start with Josh. Josh, you said D, 30 minutes. That is the correct answer. Yes, indeed. Next, we're going to go over and take a look at Christy. Christy said B. Sorry, Christy, no. It was indeed D, like Josh said. Last, over to Spencer. Spencer, you said D. D, you said 30
Wait, she's
minutes.
An airline pilot? No, come on. Come on.
She doesn't have
There's no
to
way
do
they
the
let her
math.
fly airliners.
Oh, the computers do the math, though. Which is, what bodes well for me. All righty, let's carry on, guys. Which of the following is not part of the life cycle of a thunderstorm? A, cumulus, B, dissipating, C, convective, or D, mature? All right, guys, which of the following is not part of the life cycle of a thunderstorm? Spencer, let's start with you. You said A. Afraid not. Sorry, Spencer. Let's try, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Josh, you said C, convective. That is the correct answer, but since you weren't the first person to buzz in, you only got the 5 points. You're still way ahead in the lead with 75 points. Lastly, Christy, you said C, convective. That is the correct answer, bringing you up right where you should be. Ascending through the ranks, 30 points. Good job. Next, let's see if you guys get this one. I have a good feeling about this one. I think I'll probably clear the board with this. The Miracle on the Hudson occurred in what year? A, 2009, B, 99, C, 2015, or D, 03? All right, the Miracle on the Hudson occurred in what year? We're going to start with Christy. Christy, you said A, 2009. That is absolutely correct, bringing you up to 40 points. Spencer, you said A as well, bringing you up to 50. And lastly, Josh, you said A as well. 80 points. Like I said, I'm psychic. I know what's going on. I know you guys. You all got it correct. Good job. Let's see if you can keep that going. Prior to the use of GPS in aviation, what was a popular form of long-distance direct navigation? A, AHARS, B, four-course, C, LORAN, or D, the VOR DME? 10 seconds. All right, let's start our reveal with Christy. Christy, you said D, the VOR DME. I'm afraid not. Sorry. We're going to go over now to Spencer. Spencer, you also said the VOR DME. Nope. No, indeed. And then Josh.
Arguing.
Josh said C, LORAN.
All right.
LORAN is the correct answer, bringing you up to that 85 points. You're inching your way closer and closer to 100 points. Let's see if you make it. You still got time in this round. Let's see if you get those triple-digit scores. Let's move on to our next question, everyone. The highest scoring U.S. ace in World War II was whom? A, Kaiser Soze, B, Gabby Gabreski, C, Brian Turner, or D, Dick Bong? Alrighty, let's start with Christy this time. Christy, you said C. Right, not. Sorry. Let's go to Spencer. Spencer, you said B. Afraid not. No, and Josh. Josh, you gonna save us this time? You said C. What? Nope, I'm afraid not. It was D. Dick Bong. Dick Bong was the highest scoring U.S. ace in World War II. Sorry about that. Let's keep it going, though. You guys are doing great still so far. Which is an invalid transponder squawk code? A, 1200, B, 4400, C, 1208, or D, 7700? Alrighty, again, let's start with Christy. Christy, you said C, 1208. That is correct, absolutely. Let's go over to Spencer. Spencer, you said B. I'm afraid not. And Josh, let's see, what did you get? Did you get it right? You said D, I'm afraid not. Christy, tell us real quick. Well, exactly. Christy, tell us real quick, why is it 1208?
Because Brian Turner taught me that.
And what did Brian Turner teach you?
He told me something about hijackers and radios and stuff, but he said under no certain terms use this transponder code 1208.
He said under no uncertain terms. I'm pretty sure he would have told you 7500. Of course, Brian's crazy, but he's our friend. We love him. No, actually, 1208 is because transponders, they're octal numbers. They go 0 through 7. There is no 8 on a transponder. So that's why that is not the correct answer. But let's keep attacking these questions with this question. Angle of attack is the angle between a wing's chord line and the what? A, the headwind component, B, the horizon, C, the longitudinal axis, or D, the relative wind. All right, Christy, let's start with you. You got this? What did you say? You said D, relative wind. That is correct. Up to 60 points now. You're catching up. You're ahead of Spencer now. Ahead of Spencer. Josh, let's see if you keep your lead. You said D, relative wind as well. And Spencer, are you going to keep it going? You said D, relative wind. 55 points for you, Spencer. All of our contestants, again, wiping the board with this question. Great job. We're beginning to round down now with round 2 and our first episode of Prop Quiz. So let's see. The quote, "And don't call me Shirley." What movie is this line from? A, Iron Eagle, B, Top Gun, C, Airport, or D, Airplane? All right, Christy, again, you buzzed in first. You're right there on that buzzer, so let's see. You said D, Airplane. That is correct, and now I want lasagna. Even though my options tonight are steak or fish, I want lasagna anyway. Spencer, you said C, Airport. I know, close. It was Airplane.
I swear I hit
Airplane.
D. I swear to God I hit D.
No, and yep, it was, Airplane is actually a spoof on a movie called 0 Hour. Almost a shot-for-shot remake, really. Just they added comedic elements. And Josh, you said D, Airplane as well, bringing you up to those 95 points. 95 points for you, Josh. We're doing great. Christy's on the board with 60 points. Spencer's with 55. Josh is in the lead with 95. And like I said, we're beginning to wind down. We're almost done. So let's continue on. Longitudinal stability refers to stability about which axis? A, the longitudinal axis, B, the lateral axis, C, the horizontal axis, or D, the vertical axis? Longitudinal stability refers to stability about which axis? Christy, you said B, the lateral axis, and that is correct. 70 points. You're coming up right behind Josh. You're sneaking up on him. Josh, you said B, the lateral axis. And I got good news for you. You're the first person to break 100 points. You got your own little jingle there. You are in those triple-digit scores. Lastly, Spencer, you said A, the longitudinal axis. Sorry there. We tripped you up a little bit, but it was indeed B, the lateral axis. Sorry about that, Spencer. Two radials do what? A, lead to the station. B, lead from the station. C, cause reverse sensing. Or D, just don't exist. 2 radials do what? I don't know. Let's see. Spencer, you said A, lead 2. I'm afraid not. Not 2. Let's try Josh. Josh, you also said A. I'm afraid not. Lastly, Christy, you said B, lead from. I'm sorry, trick question. 2 radials don't exist. There's no such thing as a 2 radial. Tripped you up on that one. Sorry about that, but we are devious. We do have devious minds. Like with questions like this. Who was the last human to stand on the surface of the moon? A, Gordo Cooper, B, John Glenn, C, Gene Cernan, or D, Scott Crossfield? All right, the last human to stand on the surface of the moon. Christy, we're going to start with you. You said C, G. Cernan. That is the correct answer. Yes, ma'am. You're up to 80 points now. You're really catching up to Josh. Over to Spencer. Spencer, you also said C, Gene Cernan. That is right. He was also known for being a wonderfully nice guy. And then Josh, you said C as well. Gene Cernan, absolutely right. Again, this is a few times now that we've wiped the board. All of our contestants proving how much trivia they know, wiping the board with a question. Let's see if they get this one. The maximum allowable airspace the maximum allowable airspeed within Class B airspace is what? A, 400 knots, B, 250 knots, C, 200 knots, or D, 300 knots? All right, we're winding down now. We're really getting short on questions here. Let's start with Josh. You said C. Sorry, Josh. No. Spencer, you said B, 250 knots. That is correct. And lastly, over to Christy. Christy, you said C as well. Sorry, Christy.
Fat fingered it.
250 knots. I know the feeling. I type for a living, and I fat finger things all day, every day. All righty. We have 2 questions left. This is our next to last question. Let's see it. The Lockheed P-38 was commonly known by what name? A, the Thunderbolt, B, the Mustang, C, the Lightning, or D, the Hellcat? All right, Spencer, let's start with you on our next to last reveal. Spencer, you said C, Lightning. That is correct. P-38 Lightning. Josh, you said C, the Lightning as well. And lastly, let's go over to Christy. Christy, you said A.
I did
Sorry,
not know this one.
is not a Queen song. Thunderbolt and Lightning, very, very frightening. But it was indeed the Lockheed P-38 Lightning. All right, everybody, here we go. Our very last question in our first episode of Prop Quiz is this. Who was the first woman to exceed the speed of sound? A, Jackie Cochran, B, Sally Ride, C, Poncho Barnes, or D, Amelia Earhart? 10 seconds. Everybody, this is for the win. Our very last reveal. Christy, you said B. Sorry, Christy, it was not Sally Ride. Spencer, you said A. A, Jackie Cochran. That is the correct answer. And lastly, over to Josh, you said B, Sally Ride. And that's the end of our second round, meeting with 110 points. Josh Flowers is the winner of tonight's game and is going home with our $500 cash prize. Christy and Spencer tied for second place. They're going to flip a coin after the show to see who walks away with the $200. Be sure to join us next week to see if Josh can defend his title against 2 high-time instructors. I'm Ethan Berg. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night.